Hey guys, this video will contain spoilers for our Arc 5 and Arc 6 side story, so do keep that in mind. For those of you that have taken part in my poll, the first video, Return by Death, is finally out, so you can go watch that if you haven't. And I'm currently working on making the second video, which is Pandora and Otto, the theory between them, so do look forward to that. I want to make this clear that this is not a web novel chapter, this is a side story, and it was bundled with volume 24 of the light novel. What Tappy does is he writes exclusive side stories that you can only get if you buy the volume at a specific retailer. This is very similar to how games operate, where if you buy or pre-order a game at a specific chain of store, you get a bonus item. The side stories are the exact same as this. Volume 24 came with 3 exclusive side stories, one involving Felt, which I have not covered, but if you want me to, let me know in the description. The second involving Typhon's Trial, which I've covered on my chapter, which involves Garfield and Liliana. And the third and final one, which we're going to be focusing on today, is the one about Priscilla. The shop exclusive that came with Priscilla's side story was the Declaration of War side story. However, I will need to go over the prequel called Shadows of Conspiracy first. Eventually, when I make my Priscilla Explained video, I'll most likely use that video to link to this one, because this video will summarize 2 of Priscilla's actual side stories. Shadows of Conspiracy starts up after the events of Arc 5. Aldebaran and Priscilla are talking on the way home from Priscilla, and as you remember, in Priscilla the witch cult attacked. However, the heroes managed to save the day and capture Sirius and kill Regulus Cornelius, the Sin Archbishop of Greed. Priscilla notices that something's eating at Al, and Al reveals in his thoughts that he felt so helpless at what happened at Priscilla, the fact that he couldn't do anything. At the same time, he thinks about Subaru, the person, despite the tense situation, managed to make everything okay. Aldebaran felt so bad that he was pondering redoing the scene he was in. However, he decided against it. Instead, he started to ponder about his helmet, thinking whilst the helmet does protect him from attacks, the main reason for his helmet is so that other people cannot see his facial expressions and emotions. After Al and Priscilla reach the mansion, the scene switches to Heinkel Astria talking to Priscilla, begging for another chance to redeem himself. For those wondering what Heinkel did, he took Felt hostage in Arc 5 after the witch cult attack. That way Reinhard would have to stay by his side and protect him if any witch cultists came to kill him. Heinkel also did eventually get into an argument with Reinhard over the killing of Theresia van Astria, which shattered the bonds of the family. Priscilla assures Heinkel that he'll have a chance to prove himself now, as the window shatters and assassins jump into the building and Heinkel fights them off. The scene has swapped to Al, who has just killed an opponent, and Al is protecting a boy called Schult. Now, he's only in one frame or one small scene of the anime, which I'll show you here. He's the Dragon Rider, and he's part of the Priscilla camp. Al glanced at his shoulder, which had a small graze on it, and he was bleeding from it. And he realized how many times he's been decapitated or punctured through the heart. He realized he only won the fight against his opponent due to his dirty trick. Al and Schult rush up to Priscilla in the mansion and find that Heinkel has killed all the assassins but left one alive. Priscilla questions him on where they've come from. However, the ninja assassin commits suicide. However, Priscilla already knows where the assassin is from. The assassin is from Wallachia. Priscilla then inquires about the wound on Al's shoulder, stating that if the assassins were from Wallachia, the blade would have been coated in poison. All of a sudden, Al drops to the floor. As Al is dying from the poison, Priscilla states that there won't be enough time for the antidote and that what she can do is cut off his head. Al states that, "Whoa, you must be joking, princess, I'm your prized servant." Priscilla refutes this, stating that he's a clown and that if he died to attack like this is essentially his fault. Priscilla then says that he's a disappointment and then calls him by his full name, to which Al states, "Don't call me that," but mid-sentence he dies. In Al's final thoughts, he inscribed the message into his soul that he mustn't ever get grazed. Al's world fell apart and the stars revolved around, giving Al another chance to redeem himself. Declarations of War starts up with Al supervising soldiers who are burying the assassins who raided the mansion. They speak about how Heinkel Astria was able to defend Priscilla. The soldier assumes that other royal candidates may have hired the assassins, such as Emilia or Krush or Anastasia. However, as we know from the last side story, Priscilla believes it to be from the Wallachia Empire. We then get a 1 month time skip, so of course relating back to the main Emilia camp, by this time Subaru and Cole should be at the Pleiades watchtower by now. Again, the idea of the other royal candidates being behind the assassination attack is thrown out the window because the candidates wouldn't stoop to that level, and after all, they all have their own issues in their camp at the moment. The scene skips forward to Al and Schult speaking to Priscilla, where Priscilla again states that the assassins are from the Wallachia Empire and they are after her. Al is of course skeptical and asks Priscilla why she believes that, and that's because the final assassin they captured, they asked him about the Wolf of the Sword, which is the crest of Wallachia, and after he heard that, he committed suicide. Al again wonders why Wallachia is attacking Priscilla, believing it to be the fact that Leap Bariel, the husband of Priscilla, owns land which is between Wallachia and the kingdom of Lagunica, and believes the assassins have attacked her because of that reason. Priscilla states that the reason why they came to kill her is because she's Wallachian royalty. Of course, we do learn this in the Crimson Afterglow side story, and of course, Priscilla can pull out the Yang sword, which shows that she's qualified to be the Wallachian emperor. She then goes on to state that Vincent, the current emperor of Wallachia, is her older half-brother, and the fact that the assassins have failed to kill her means that there will be another attack coming soon. Priscilla then states the only logical thing is to attack head-on. This is something that Al disagrees with. After all, he doesn't want to go back to Wallachia because he spent his early days being a gladiator, and that's where he lost his arm. Al tries to convince Priscilla to not go to Wallachia, stating that maybe they should just abandon some of their dreams. This results in Priscilla decapitating Al, killing him. Al realized that sometimes, no matter what actions you take, sometimes the outcome cannot be changed. After trying nearly 1,000 times to get Priscilla to give up on going to Wallachia, he couldn't get her to change her mind, and so gave in to her desires. Al then states that he doesn't object to going to Wallachia, and Priscilla is quite surprised by this, and states that if he went against her, he would have gotten decapitated on the spot. Al then thinks to himself, stating that no matter what dead end he faces, he will overcome the situation and get the results that they desire together. Thank you for making it this far. This is the end of the side story, and of course the reason why I'm making this video is because Arc 7 should be coming out shortly, hopefully, and this is the reason why Priscilla and Al are going to be involved in Arc 7.